Hello. This is a video response to Fearless's video which asked, is white man the devil? And what I'm about to do may make a lot of people think that perhaps I am the devil, white or not, because I'm going to smoke a cigarette. But I tell you what, these are not animal tested, so shut the fuck up, alright? Anyway, on with my actual video. Okay, now, there's a couple of reasons why I think your video was silly. If you pardon me for saying so. Part of it was that, you read out a Bible passage where basically someone who's done the wrong thing is struck with a skin disease that makes them white. Now, I don't know what this disease would be, but you're suggesting that it's leprosy. Now, I'm going to put up a picture of someone with leprosy, and I just want you to ask yourself whether this person's condition makes them look like me. This is an Indian person with dark skin. There is a skin disease, an autoimmune condition called vitiligo that makes the pigment in the skin, makes the body attack pigmentation in the skin cells and makes them go away, which is what Michael Jackson says that he has. But that's not, I guess, God could make vitiligo cover your whole skin in a second if God is omnipotent, but that's not likely to be it either. So I don't think you meant leprosy. The other issue is that the pictures that you showed, you got Klansmen, which most white people think are scum. You show Hitler. You show Charlie Manson, who is, if you know anything about Charles Manson, isn't crazy because he's white. He's just crazy because he had a horrible life. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke my cigarette. And this kind of stresses me out, like thinking about these issues, because I know our past has been horrible. I know that firsthand, But to ask whether white man is the devil or not is just, it's quite chilling, to hear someone ask that. Klansmen suck. Hitler sucks. Charles Manson is a deeply disturbed individual with serious problems. Jim Jones is one hell of a demented guy, killing all those people. And Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey, I think a lot of people criticize Anton LaVey without actually knowing anything about the man. The movement, the Church of Satan, right, which is a particular branch of Satanism. There's also devil worship, which can take some pretty nasty forms. But Church of Satan, Satanism, is not what people think it would be. They actually prohibit any form of like abuse of animals or children, because they venerate animals and children as like high, because they're innocent, because they're free, because they do, what they want to do when they want to do it, because they don't have all these inhibitions that society programs into adults. There's the lighter. We're both smoking. We're evil satans. Anyway, there's Jamie's cigarette and my cigarette. And, all of these stereotypes people have of Satanists sacrificing children and animals, that's not what most Satanists are doing. There are some freaks out there doing it, I'm sure, but there are also some Christians out there molesting children and doing horrible things to animals as well. So you can't really blame that on Satanism. Satanism, as Anton LaVey characterized it, is actually a form of spiritual humanism. Now, from my understanding, humanists are kind of atheistic, but they believe that humanity has a fundamental need for a spiritual outlet, you might say. So what Anton LaVey's past is that one of the jobs that he held was as a keyboardist, like playing the keyboard at carnivals, but also like the same venue also had a church service held in it on Sundays. So all week he would see people coming to the carnival and being like, debauched and crazy and getting drunk and running around doing all these things. And then on Sunday he saw the same people come in acting all pure and innocent, and then I guess asking for forgiveness from God for what they'd done in the previous week. So I guess he was also a police photographer, so I'm sure he saw some horrible things. So I guess basically his concept was that, humanity's, carnal by nature. There's no getting out of it. That's just the way we are. And that Christianity had basically damaged people by making them guilty for certain things which, they were just instinctively driven to do. So that's how the humanist sort of perspective gets wrapped up with a spiritual, anti-Christian, method, if you want to say that way, because basically he felt like people would be so freed by going against Christianity and doing the exact opposite, that it would be good for them. So yeah, I'm not a Satanist, but I find it offensive that people hold Anton LaVey or Satanism up as this thing they don't actually know what it is about. But basically I think, white people are definitely not the devil. A lot of people who fought very strongly for the abolition of slavery, well, almost all of the people who fought for the abolition of slavery were white people. There were white people giving refuge to black slaves who had fled. There were a lot of influential, high-status white people who fought for the freeing of the slaves, and then, later on, fought for civil rights for black people. So really, you're not talking about individual white people. You're talking about systems. You're talking about, if you're thinking about the beginning of the slave trade, you're talking about merchants, like rich people who are out there buying the slaves from black people in Africa who had captured these people. And by the way, as you've said before in some of your videos, I mean, obviously there's a lot of violence in Africa, everyone knows that, black on black violence. But also there are still black people taking other black people as slaves, for the manufacture of things like chocolate and even shea butter, which I know that you sell. I'm assuming that stuff that you're involved with marketing is fair trade, but a lot of it isn't, unfortunately. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm just shocked by this video. It seems a bit racist for one, and then ridiculous also. We have a terrible past. No one can deny that. I feel it quite strongly myself because my family went over with Cecil Rhodes personally to Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, to colonize that area, and they had, basically slaves, they had servants. I'm assuming they weren't paid much, lived in a hut out the back, and my nana still to this day believes that was perfectly fine, She basically said, I said, didn't you feel bad having these people living in a hut in the back of your big fancy house? And she said, well, they should have been grateful because before, if we hadn't come, they wouldn't have had jobs, which just boggles my mind. Obviously, I'm not the devil. I'm a very compassionate, caring person. My partner's not the devil. I've known a lot of, other white people who are very nice people and who would never, in their wildest dreams, support, crimes against people of different colours or creeds or nationalities ever, You also have to remember that elites in Western cultures have done horrendous things to other people who were white as well. You know, they didn't care. These people didn't care. To them, anyone who wasn't an elite was an animal. Black, white, yellow, red, whatever. So if you want to attack anyone, attack them, attack that mentality. But white people, no race can be typified as evil. We're all individuals with our own choices to make in life, and we should be judged by those individual choices, not by the colour of our skin. Thank you.